Hi guys, I'm Razvan Vishan, one of the co-founders at Socialinsider and also one of the developers at Socialinsider. Welcome to a new webinar about social media analytics and about what we do at Socialinsider about this. So this webinar is all about Instagram hashtags. So I'm going to be discussing how can you use Socialinsider to look at Instagram hashtags to get more insights about your hashtags or the competition's hashtags. And I'm going to tell you about some API limitations, about how we get the data, and what can you see in the dashboard. Okay, let's start. So right now, what you see here is it's a project we did. I'm gonna do a little side note here. You're gonna notice we rehold the whole project thing in the sidebar, which is very awesome. We did that just 2 weeks ago, I think. Okay, so I've loaded up here about 10 hashtags, and let's see what can we see about each one of those. So let's see about coffee love. First things first, really easy. The total number of posts in that period, in the period is the last 30 days, the total engagement, and the average engagement per post. Okay, the next chart is, you may be wondering here about this, and we're gonna break it down because the next chart is gonna pose a lot more questions. So as you see here, there are roughly around 1800, 1900 posts per day. But in May, there's a drop in posts at about several hundred. So I'm going to tell you this. Most likely, this is a scanning error. And I'm going to explain further because I'm going to use this example to go with you through the API and what's available in the Instagram API. Okay. So the way the Instagram hashtag API works is there's two endpoints, they call it. The recent media endpoint and the top media endpoint. The recent media is the last whatever posts that were tagged with that particular hashtag in the caption, or if the hashtag was used in the comments by other users. So for every hashtag that you put in Socialinsider, we get those posts from the recent media and from the top media. And we do this, we get this data 4 times a day. And every time we get 1,000 hashtags. So 4 times a day, say at midnight, at 6 a.m., at noon, and at 6 p.m. We take your hashtag like coffee love, and we get the last 1,000 posts for that hashtag. So this means 2 things. For really high volume hashtags like coffee love, which maybe have every day more than, I think, 4,000 posts per day, that hashtags that get 10K posts or 50K posts, we can only get the 4,000 posts. So, but they're usually less than 4,000 because they may happen to overlap. So that means that if a scan is starting at 6 a.m. and the last 1,000 hashtags were posted between 5 and 6 a.m., that's the only hashtags that we're gonna get. This is mainly due to limitation of how much data can we get out of Instagram. Again, in the top media endpoint, things are pretty similar, but that endpoint will only give us the hashtags with the most engagement, but they will usually overlap with their image. Okay, this is what happens with high volume hashtags. So this is the way we can miss out on data. What happens then with low volume hashtags is by the same algorithm. Let's say if let's see, impact beyond the classroom, right? Okay, these are 24 posts in the last month. So if we're gonna get the, let's say, the custom range for the last year, we're gonna see 84 posts. So we easily got the posts from April, March, February, and so on. But then again, I don't know when this hashtag was added. The scanner stopped at some point, or maybe this was the start of the post. Okay, let's see. Fill your okay. Next, about the charts. Okay, so in post evolution, you see here that okay, I selected the last year, right? So 10K posts in March, 50K in April, and May. We're half of the month, so it's not done yet. Okay, let's see in the last 2 months now. Okay. So we're consistently pulling roughly 2,000 posts per day. Moving on to the next section is, well, of all these posts, what are the other hashtags used here? So two charts, the top hashtags by usage, by count. So you see the coffee love, which is obviously in every post, and then coffee lover, and so on. It decreases. And the next thing is, what are the best hashtags by engagement? So for each post, we do have the engagement, which is the sum of likes and comments, and we average out the engagement for the given hashtags. So for instance, for coffee mug is the first with 120 engagement. So the average engagement, remember, is 100, and so on. So coffee mug is performing a little better, cafe life, and then apparently coffee is well, probably used more, but not that relevant. So it makes sense. Okay, so the world of coffee love hashtags uses 17 hashtags per post. I don't know if that's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot bigger number than average. Again, we can see here the top 3 posts. If you're accustomed to seeing the posts in Socialinsider, you can see 2 things here that may seem a little bit off. One is no picture for the username. So we have a little tooltip. Instagram hashtags API does not give the poster username nor the profile picture. So this is this API was made available around November, and it was closed in April of last year due to the whole Cambridge Analytica scandal. So when the API was resurrected in November, they massively pulled all the private information about the users from the API. So no username, no profile pic. Okay, moving along. Strawberry guy. Okay, good one. Another thing to note is, okay, image 80K, carousel around 10% of that, and video 5% of all the images. And yeah, coffee lovers are pretty visual, so no need to video yourself for drinking coffee, right? Okay, time to post. This is UTC time, and this is an aggregate, so it may be a little skewed because of time zone differences, but basically around PM, from 1 to 3 PM, it's a pretty big spike here. So right after lunch, and in the morning 7 to 9. I don't understand here people drinking coffee. It's 7, 8, or 9 in the evening, but that's their choice, I think. Okay, moving along. So this is pretty in line with human nature, I think. Okay, the engagement of these posts. Sorry about that. I have a little cold that's leaving me. So the engagement is 100 per post in average. So the numbers we're gonna be on average the number of posts per that particular day times 100. Another chart is the distribution of likes and the comments. Again, being that the engagement is roughly most of the likes are most of the engagement, it pretty much checks out. So 300K likes and 10K comments. Okay, we saw earlier that video was about 5% of images as volume, but we can see here that as engagement is, well, 10% comparing to images. So 753K versus 7 million engagement in images. Yeah, this shows. So when we rank them by average engagement, video ranks better with 169. Carousel is pretty much the whole average, and the images are lower. It can be because they get the long tail for engagement, for instance, and this is why maybe the difference shows up. Okay, so one more thing about the hashtags. Let's dig into the post. So what we can see here is, again, if you're familiar with Socialinsider's dashboard, you can see the post. What to note here, 3 things. I've already told you about the lack of usernames and profile photos of the people who posted this. That's one thing. The second thing is the tag campaign button, which we just released 2 days ago, but that's a whole different story, and we're gonna do a whole webinar about that. But we're in the process of implementing it, and it's gonna be really cool. And the third thing is the missing photo. We have some posts with the missing photo. Okay, let's see. Let's click it, and indeed it takes us to a carousel. So Instagram's API, as I told you, resurfaced last November, but they didn't quite got through all the kinks. So for the hashtags for the carousel, we don't have a photo to show you. So sorry about that. We're gonna add it when they add it. So let's see, filtering through, like, for videos, and we only see videos now. And let's see a bunch of whole non-posts, if we can filter them by carousel. Okay, all, and then we can sort them. This is pretty basic post view. You're pretty used to it from Socialinsider. Okay, one more thing I wanted to mention is we got some questions from our users about the need to link their own Instagram account to be able to add a hashtag. Again, this limitation was not there in the previous version of the API. So the version that was killed in April of 2018. But this limitation is now made with the current API. So you need to add your own Instagram business profile, and then using the access token of that business profile that you authorized with for Socialinsider, you can I mean, we use that access token to get the data. So I think that was it. It wasn't a really huge topic. So thank you for being with me today. Please do come back for the next webinar, and we're gonna do sample benchmarking, and that's gonna be really cool. Okay, thank you very much, and have a great day.